So I got the screen up. I'm gonna read the first adjustments for the global change. And what was that accent? Adjustments. What accent was that? Australia? I don't fucking know. So starting off, the charge rate for ultimate abilities has been nerfed across the board, which is great. Our aim is to keep the core combat fun and dynamic while dialing back those rapid fire ultimates. This will also lower the baseline strength of triple strategist compositions without compromising the core combat experience. Based on the game data, around 80% of ultimate ability energy comes from damage or healing conversion. That means the charge rate reduction is nearly equal for vanguards, duelists, and strategists at about 20% drop across the board. This keeps the playing field balanced and ensures your big moves feel earned. The other little blurb says vanguards and duelists reduce damage to energy conversion from 90% to 70%. Reduce passive ability energy regeneration to 12 seconds to 11 seconds. And strategists reduce damage / healing to energy conversion from 90% to 75%. So less of a drop there. Reduce passive ultimate ability energy regeneration from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. Time to plan your ultimate, not just spam them. What do y'all think about that change?
All right, cool. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, basically, based off of what I played like a cool 2.5, 3 straight hours of season 7 today. Mm-hmm. And I think that the alt charge, the nerf to it overall, it was definitely needed. My fault. It was definitely needed, just simply based off the fact of, in my opinion, like as I went up and ranked and started just playing different positions and really just starting to overall understand the game. In my personal opinion, it just became who can use or time the better alt. That's pretty much, if you're playing 2 evenly matched teams, it's who can use or time the better alt. And is that alt going to win them the game or not? Or as opposed to like, even in quick match with, unfortunately, the new proficiency system that they added, I want to say about 2 seasons ago now. Now quick match is like super sweaty because rank was unbearable. And it was pretty much the same thing. So from what I felt today, I definitely felt the difference as far as alt change for all the roles. I tanked, I DPS, and I healed today. That was probably, I still felt like I felt the least drop off with heal because I've been maining Luna and she doesn't get her alt as fast. So I don't think it was that big of a difference. But when I went to the thing earlier, I was hooping and it felt like it took me forever to get alt. I mean, I was almost like 13-0 before I got alt with at least like 6 final hits. So I was kind of confused right there, but then I just had to remember, they definitely nerfed the alt charge, which overall, last thing I'm gonna say about it is I felt like it was needed, and I'm honestly not too mad at it. I just haven't seen how it's transpired to rank yet. I'm going to give ranked at least about a week before I jump into it because I tapped into your stream earlier and seen what it was looking like with that little kid faking sick so he could stay home from school and play ranked. I think I'm gonna avoid them, so that's about all I had.
Solo, you got anything to add before I chime in? And before that, the proficiency rank up system came like halfway through the season, so I think it was like we didn't have it in 7 and then they gave it to us 7.5 if I'm thinking correctly on that. But I think everything you said was solid. But Solo, I'll let you go next.
I can hear you, bro, but I'm not sure why he can't hear you.
No, he's I'm live right now too, so he said, "Wait, you can't hear me." So I believe he's having a mic issue right now. So yeah, we're good. We're having this.
Yeah, no, I'm talking to him now, bro.
Oh shit, you can't hear? You can hear him?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I can hear him, bro.
What in the racism? 1 second.
Do you have him muted?
Let me see. Nah, I just pulled it up on the screen.
Said with the racism.
I don't know. My computer's being racist, bro. I'm sorry.
Hey, bro, it'd be like that. No, I was gonna say 100% agree with Slice here.
Okay.
I played a little bit earlier this morning, and season 7 altogether feels a lot slower. As slower as in like people actually have to start maintaining tempo instead of just going in all willy nilly because healers just can spam their ults. Damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, they can't spam their ults as often, so it especially comes to a point when game modes like controller domination, where you're just holding the point forever and fights go on forever because ultimates just last that long. So I feel like it was overall just a really good change, and it'll allow for more interesting fights as well. Because when team fights actually go in, there's more to it than just spamming right click on a healer or just spamming right click on DPS and just expecting to get your ultimate in like the next fight. So, in my experience, I've just been playing changes to Black Panther, and overall, it's been feeling a lot better across the board. Whether you play dive, I've played a couple games of healer. Healer's been feeling a little more consistent because tanks are slowly trying to learn how to back up a little bit more and maintain their line of sight so that sustainability will be a really big what's the word? I can't think of the word, but yeah, overall, yeah, I 100%
like focal point maybe.
Yeah, it's like slowing the game down more and having people actually pay attention to their cooldowns rather than just being able to be like, oh, it's usable, I can just use it in the next fight.
Right.
It just really gives it gives a nice change to like people actually paying attention more.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay. A few follow-up questions for the panel is, do you think that this hurts the casuals that get on it at all? And then the other question, well, I'll start with there. Do you think this hurts the casuals that get on it? Oh, then I'll do the other question. And was this on your bingo sheet for what the game needed to change?
Well, I guess I'll start. Overall, I felt this probably would have been better than what I would have suggested. I would have thought maybe just lowering the duration of ults would have been a lot better, specifically just because I know the triple healer comp is really toxic in ranked especially.
I hate
so being
it.
able to just good.
I hate it. Keep going though.
Yeah. No, like being able to just like mitigate them from being able to just keep their team alive permanently with the triple healer comp, I think is a really good change, and it also will help shift the meta a little bit because now not everyone is going to want to play triple healer because they'll realize, oh snap, we don't have our ultimates that fast anymore. How are we going to keep this team alive? Like they're going to have to actually start learning a little bit of combat or like changing up the tempo, whether it's like playing supports that break down shields really fast like Rocket or Loki, or having to use more CC like the introduction of White Fox. I heard she can also do knockups and charms. So I feel like it'll create more interesting fights, and this was definitely just overall really good. As far as impacting casual players, I feel like they would have a lot more fun playing the game now because they don't have to worry about just having to hold a point for a million years with an ultimate. And as far as like getting CC'd from tanks, or especially the thing getting his ult like every other fight is kind of ridiculous for a lot of casuals, and it makes the game unfun for a lot of demographics of players, whether it just be people looking to play the game just for fun, whether it people playing competitively and they want to play dive. Yeah, overall, I think it wouldn't really impact them that much overall. I think instead it'll just give them like a chance to actually experience Marvel Rivals for what Marvel Rivals should be, and not just a heal bot fest.
Very elegantly spoken. And thank you for your elaboration there. And like you said, you wouldn't thought, that's kind of like my answer. Like you wouldn't have thought that about it like that, or that it needed to be changed because you thought it was just the meta of the game. And I'll have some more follow up at the end once we go through some of these characters. But Slice, what's your take on that to those two questions? I can re-say those questions as well.
Yeah, could you just ask the questions again?
Yes.
I was just like basically shaking my head the entire time agreeing with Solo to the point to where I forgot what the question was.
He was killing it. Yes, preacher. So no, I was saying, do you think that this change with the ultimate abilities affects the casual gamer, and was this on your bingo sheet for the changes that you need? Because you were one that was almost about to, get the game a funeral, right? You said that it needed to be changed. So was this on your list of, hey, this needs to be changed about the game, or is this like a curveball that you didn't foresee that will help the game out?
Yeah, man, I definitely had my suit ready to pack up Marvel Rivals in the graveyard forever, but As far as was the alt charge nerf, was that one of my key pointers that I needed or wish for the game to incorporate in order to make it substantially better? I would say yes, but I wouldn't say that I came up with that on my own. I've been watching like a lot of videos and branching off, finding different creators and just listening to what the creators that are ranked higher than me, so I could pick the brain of creators in higher ranks to see what they think in those higher elos, as well as where I'm at and even the lower elos, because despite elo or skill level, it still doesn't necessarily, neither one of those two really determine how well you know the game. It's all about, just simply put, how well you know the game. So within hearing that from a bunch of different creators, I was also able to see, like, you know what, that does sound like something that would actually benefit the game. Now, as far as the casuals, for me personally, I don't know why I say I'm in the middle, because when I think of a casual, I think of someone who only has about like an hour or two to load this up, and maybe they're just off of school, or they can only play after they do their homework, or maybe they're just getting off of work and they got an hour or two before they lay back down to unfortunately start the dreaded cycle of the 9 to 5 every morning, so, and every day. So you know I'm torn in the middle, because I don't I don't think casuals will really notice it that much. Like I feel like they'll notice it, but I think that might have been a part of, there's a group of casuals who I feel like may have actually liked that. And now, even though yes, it is what was needed, I think that might drive just a small percentage of people away, because so many people were alt merchants, or were really only good because they knew that whatever character they mainly ran would consistently get alt. So to piggyback off of what Solo said, uh, I like to use the thing a lot. And a reason why is because not only is it satisfying, knocking people out with the stone haymaker, but, as fast as he would get alt, I mean, he was pretty OP, bro. Now, he wasn't the best, so he definitely needed it. But, as he got better, it only just made him a lot better due to how much he could get alt. So, you know, um, that's about, I believe I answered both. So was it on my bingo sheet? Yes. And will it benefit the casual? I say 50% yes, 50% no. And I do apologize. That's not a straightforward answer.
No, you
That's probably, like, the
good.
only time.
You good, bro. That was a
Yeah.
thorough answer, honestly, bro. Because, I mean, you kind of right. It might decrease or drop. It might not. We got to see how it goes. It's really only not even 24 hours into the game. And like you said, I can see it made the game easier. So anything that's not making the game easier and it gets taken away, you can obviously see people like, man, I don't want to play this. I want to again, again. You know what I mean? So whatever it is. So I think that was thorough. And then you said that it kind of was on your Bengals, not really on your Bengals sheet, but you can definitely see it as something that benefit the game, is what I'm hearing from it. So yeah, that was my follow up on it and how I think it's going to impact the game. But I think just like anything, it's just like what you know and what you're used to. Because if you're casual at this point, or if you're, depends on what season that you came in, it won't be the biggest change. But if you started at season 0, you probably be like, damn, this is a significant change to the game. So if we don't have anything else to say about that, we can get into some of the character models. I don't try Angela out as much, but Angela is the first on the spreadsheet. I'm gonna have a lot to say about Cap, so I'll let y'all talk about Angela a little bit. It says heaven sent pressure, grounded precision. Angela is fiercer on the ground, but less pesky in the fight. In flight, her ultimate ability, damage, and control have been slightly hit. Reduce Seraphic Sword's attack charge to Spear of Icarus conversion from 45 to 35%. It increases bonus damage at full charge from 15 to 20. Increase shield stance damage to charge conversion from 25 to 35%. And Solo and everybody that really understands what exactly this means, y'all can break it down a little bit more. I don't play her, and what those percentages mean, if y'all understand them. Increase assassins charge cooldown from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. Reduce max recharge time from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. Increase Axis of Icarus bonus health to self from 40 to 50, so you get more, I believe, and from 20 to 25 for allies after landing Divine Judgment. Increase Heaven's Retribution, ultimate ability. Spear throw damage from 10 to 40, okay. Reduce spear health from 800 to 650. Any Angela mains, anybody that enjoy picking her up from time to time, and can you convert this mathematic equation that Ziyang and Guang has put on this sheet? Because they really do be wording this shit like they doing trigonometry sometimes. God damn it. Whoever want to take the floor can go first. Or if it's not that a hot topic, we can go to the next person for real. Because I don't know if y'all guys play Angela. If Angela's a problem in comp for you on PC, or if she's been a problem on console, and does this feel more of a nerf or a buff, or we can also say this is neutral?
Candidly, I don't play Angela, so a lot of this stuff is kind of it's kind of damn, what's the word? Like, it's a little bit confusing to understand, I guess, but I understand from what I'm reading is that overall she's gonna be less annoying, like just flying around in general, which I think is a needed change, because even though she is, well, isn't she like the only flying tank in the game right now? It would really take a toll off of the healers when what I'm reading is that she has like her spear charge cooldown. That would really take a lot of pressure off the healers a lot more, because she doesn't have to just constantly fly around and throw them off the map or chase them for a million years in a million instances where I've played against her. Overall, I don't have that much to say about her. I mean, I think this is a pretty okay change. It grounds her a little bit. As I have to actually look at her abilities and see what she actually does to understand a lot of this, but that's all I got for right now.
All right. Slice, you want to weigh in before I say it, and then we can move on to Cap?
So unfortunately, I don't really use Angela either. So the numbers definitely sound like some Jiang and Guang gibberish to me as well, unfortunately. But I do usually watch the side-by-side comparisons of what moves used to do before the buff or nerf and after. And what most people seem to be saying, that it's a pretty balanced buff and nerf. She took a little bit of a hit, but then her ultimate got like extremely buffed. And I know her ultimate was a weak point. So that's all I really know, and can say that that's a W for Angela, is at least her ult got better. But I never really took the time to learn her because I'm just not really a fan. And if I'm going to run dive tank, I'd rather run Venom. I've been maining him. I mained him pretty much all last season. Finally got him lowered. So, yeah, that's really my go-to dive. I'm not really a part of the Muscle Mommy group on that one, fellas.
This nigga is crazy, Muscle Mommy. No, for real though. No, like, yeah, I got the same take as y'all. I don't play her like that, but just from combat experience, I mean, I don't think that she was. I think she needed a little bit of a buff for me to even pick her up. But then again, I've seen people really, high level streamers and content creators and gamers use her efficiently and be pesky. A good Angela is pesky, but how pesky you can get away from all her stuff, I don't feel like her charge ability does enough. And from what I'm getting, that her spear does a little bit more damage, but it has more cooldown. Her ult gets a little bit more damage, and I don't know if it has any other. It reduces the health of the spear, I guess. I don't know what that means. If the spear has a health bar, I don't know.
Yeah, her ultimate does have a health bar. So it's
in the ground. Yes. I remember now. So it reduces it. So you're not just sitting there fighting a goddamn stick in the ground. I feel like for that long, but I don't feel like that was necessary in my opinion, because I felt like that ult was kind of a joke. In my opinion, it's one of the ones was like, oh, you get pulled in, and it's like, okay. Even with high level players, they do it. It's like, yeah, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was saying, yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I think this update really just gave her a lot more kill pressure rather than just being annoying. Because I know, again, back to the backline, Angela consistently dives backline, and she's always flying around. So I think this change really, from what I'm interpreting it as, is it gives her a little more kill pressure and less survivability,
Mhm.
um, which could overall be a good thing. Again, with the alt changes too being added, it's going to make it so that a lot more characters can deal with her a little more than what they were used to, instead of just constantly running around trying to hug a teammate for safety, you know?
Makes sense. So she's
So
more less than a big ass mosquito. You know, she's more. She can deal with it a little bit more.
a little more deadly, yeah, but
Yeah.
at the same time, she isn't. She'll be required to stick to trying to actually get kills now, instead of just farming her ultimate, just hitting backlines and keeping them like staggering the team.
Yeah, she's like a flying shepherd. You know, with the sheep. I feel like she'd be hurting us sometime. Like he'll just get over this way.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the Angela. We don't need to super deep dive her. Captain America has had a lot of controversy because they canceled the animation canceled, pretty much, which was the mechanic that made a good cap a good cap or a bad cap, if done successfully. It says now a little smoother when running up on your left. Cap shield work also gets smoother during sprints, but his ultimate gives a little less energy. When leading dash is set to toggle, Captain America's last 4 range Sentinel Strike shield throws won't be interrupted by leading dash, and it reduces the freedom charge energy to affect allies from 30 to 20%. And somewhere in there, or in this patch notes, what they don't show you is that what they did there is it canceled the shield animation, but it gave him more melee damage. And I think that this is not even the updated patch notes all the way, because they went back and heard that the content creators were complaining. That's one thing I want to say about this community too. By the time we get to season 7, this is one of the most whiny ass communities. Like, and I think it affects the game so much. So this is my message to Guan while I'm on Captain America, is we have to find a balance and leave it the fuck alone. I feel like that would makes a good game, but I know this is a hero shooter, but I have the same problem in the other games, and I used to play 2K for a long time. I know it's not the same, but I would hate when they would patch a jump shot or patch the jump shot success, and you had to change the jump shot all the time, and you just came home from a day of work or school or whatever type shit. So I think it makes for a bad gaming experience when you have to buff and nerf everybody so much. Like, get everybody to where they need to, where the game is balanced. Like, figure out that equation and leave it alone. So when you're taking away like animation cancels or tech for a hero, I think you need to do it for everybody else as well, because Spider-Man has tech, Bucky has tech, Strange has tech, but sometimes the animation cancel or the tech for the character is very crucial to how it's played and how fun it is. I felt kind of like by season 7.5, by the end of it, that Cat was damn near unplayable, and other seasons he was more viable, but I've seen people grind him all the way up to eternity as well. So I guess it depends on how good you are and if you're going to put the shield down or not. So does anybody else have any input on this or what I said too? You can retort or talk about the nerf to Cap. I know Slice does not really play Cap. He hates Cap. But yeah.
Not a Cat fan at all, my brother. My bad, Solo.
No, you're good. Personally, I haven't seen Cap in a million years in my experience playing Rivals. So I feel like overall, this is getting him a small buff or a small nerf, do you think, Dion? Because I heard, they got rid of the animation cancels, but they also just made like a lot of his like shield work a lot smoother, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like it's a nerf, because I mean the animation cancels made it to where you could do a high amount of damage if you're doing it correctly, and you could fight from range. Sometimes you do forget it, and then yes, to answer your first question, Cap has the lowest pick rate in Marvel Rivals for the reason of people not knowing that, but there are high level streamers, high level players who use Cap very efficiently off the back. I know Mark DZ, Punu, and I think Inti Blaze use Cap, and they all were able to almost one draw. I know Inti Blaze and Panu was able to pretty much climb to eternity or even above and be top 500 caps just by that mechanism and being able to execute it well. And it's like, it's boring if you're watching somebody struggle on cap. I know sometimes I'm not doing the best, but when you're watching a high level cap, it's something to behold. So I think it's a slight nerf, even though his shield work is better. And on the next update, I don't think I can find right now. I'm looking on my other tab. They made his melee a little bit stronger, but it's still like you took away something that made the character pretty good, and nobody picks him anyway. So, like, why would you take away what makes him a very viable dive from that aspect, in my opinion?
Yeah, no, the only thing I could probably say is that they probably made this change just so that they could increase his pick rate.
Okay.
In a lot of games, because I think what really, like you said earlier, what makes the difference between a good cap and a bad cap is really that like animation cancel tech. And I feel like since not many Captain America players or people who want to pick up Captain America players would understand that and get that right away, that they'd probably feel like discouraged to try and play him, because then his viability just tanks.
I agree. That's a great take. And they did it more so people can do that, but I think it's one where it hurts the higher level comp players or competent comp players how to use them, but make them more casual. So I can't be mad. I also got to give them a try this season. I loaded up Venom right away because people don't know how to heal. This season, from our few games that I played, but I'm gonna give him a try and see how it is. I know that people, and what I was saying in my monologue before is people didn't even see how it would work before, feeling like that the sky was falling. But I just want them to like leave the how the game is made alone, unless it's like a real change that be made. Like, that's why patch notes exist, but it shouldn't be every season we're seeing all this shit because of the meta change. I understand you add a new hero, it's like, okay, tweak that hero to balance to the rest of the game as well. And you said Slice, I know you ain't got nothing to say. You said fuck that, man.
Nah, surprisingly, even though I'm not a cat fan of Rivals, I do have, I feel like a fairly fair opinion on the cap nerf / fake buff. In my opinion, it's honestly a little controversial that they let this man go. I want to say like 6.5 seasons with the animation cancel and just randomly decided to just get rid of it, because, you know, I'm sure that's what drove many of what little or few cat mains there were out there. You know, that's something that they had in their arsenal that, just like the both of you said, would separate a good cat from a bad cat. So, you know, now that does even the playing field, but, you know, that kind of shortens that skill gap as far as, you know, who's really a good cap and who's a bad cap now, because allegedly the animation cancel is still in the game, but it's slower and you can't hit as far as you used to be able to anymore. So it's still patched no matter what. But you know, I feel like that's not necessarily fair considering the fact of the X amount of other animation cancels. I mean, I know Spider-Man has cluster cancels. I know Strange has his reload cancel. You know what I mean? So there's more than one animation cancel in the game, and it's actually great that you brought up 2K, because this is something that 2K has done sometimes as well. But where I'll give 2K props is specifically last year, every cheesy dribble move that people cried about, they just completely took it out of the game, as opposed to, you know, just picking and choosing certain dribble moves. So to compare Marvel Rivals to 2K, in my opinion, Marvel Rivals should also take that route. And it's like, okay, well, if you're gonna get rid of one animation cancel, I might get some frowny faces in the comments from me on this one, but you know, I feel like they should take them all out. So that includes Strange's reload cancel, Spider-Man's web cluster cancel, etc. You know what I mean? If we're gonna go that route, and you know how much I dislike Cap on Rivals, but I like the fact that he had the animation cancel, because it made him tough, bro. It made me want to learn it, and that was all the more reason why I disliked Cap, was because I still couldn't learn Cap or the animation cancel. I just gave up, bro. But you know what I mean? Like, just seeing him do that and seeing what he was actually able to do, it was nice. Now, if I was healing and got hit with the animation cancel, I'd definitely be saying some things that would get me canceled. But, you know, I couldn't get mad at it because it took skill. So, Not the biggest fan of that cap nerf. Not at all. I don't think it was deserved at all. And once again, I'm just gonna say, I mean, realistically, look at his win rate and look at his pick rate. Let's just, I know many people weren't using cap at all in low or even mid elo. It was really just a high elo thing. But regardless, I'm sure his pick rate, if the goal was for it to even out or increase, I'm sure Marvel Rivals they didn't think too much about this one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure it'll do the exact opposite.
And this is why I definitely love to have multiple minds tackle a topic, because I mean that's really dope to see how solo this is why they did it, and you I see why I don't like it in this way and stuff like that. But I definitely kind of agree with both of y'all and stuff like that. Well, and you know how I feel about it. I wish it was still there. And the last thing I'll say about it before we move to Deadpool, Vanguard Deadpool, is the ultimate ability. It dropped from 30 to 20% to charge allies, which I feel like his ult, people don't pick him like that, but I don't think that needed to be touched either. It's not like he would pop ult and then everybody would get their ultimate charged all the way, because the fight is going to be so messy. It's so much of a color cluster and people doing different things, and some people not even being competent to get behind it. And if you're not coordinating with your team and walking in a straight line, people are not even getting the energy, or unless you're jumping around the whole map as well, trying to give everybody stuff, which is kind of hard to do with just 5 other people. I think that the 10% is, it's not the worst nerf. At the same time, it's not like it was super OP in my opinion. So that's what I will leave it there. Deadpool, the hardiest merc, takes a breath. Survivability and ultimate frequency are slightly nerfed to match the new ultimate efficiency. Reduce Deadpool in your area, which is his healing move for the Vanguard, or damage move. Damage reduction from 40% to 30%. Increase ultimate ability cooldown from 45 to a minute. 45 seconds to a minute. Anybody play Deadpool Vanguard? I want to get more into playing all roles of Deadpool, but I just haven't had enough time or chose him enough, because I felt like I was better mains on other characters, especially when I was trying to play comp. I didn't want to throw games.
Yeah, I'll probably start with this one. So I definitely was a tank pool main out of all the Deadpool variants. Mm-hmm. And I actually used him earlier. And the craziest thing is I did not see a single difference at all. The only thing I can't even say I saw a difference with the ultimate either, because, even with the nerf to the ultimate charge, I still felt as if out of all the characters I used today, Tankpool got his ultimate fairly quick, but his ultimate charge actually differs from the rest of the crew. So not only did I get my ultimate fairly quick, but it still hit just as hard. So when I use tank pool, I like to target the healers with Deadpool's ultimate to kind of be a way to negate heals. It keeps them from shooting, because especially if you have a Luna or a Mantis, obviously they miss, they're going to take damage if you pick the right ult. So I think this was I'm not going to say ninja nerf, but I'll just say I think it was a fake nerf, bro. I don't see even the slightest bit difference with tank pool. Even his R1 Vanguard Deadpool in the area, or his damage reduction move, I don't think it was that big of a drop off. But I will say that my heals actually were healing that game, so that's probably why. That's all I have for that. I definitely don't think it was needed, but I know Deadpool was cheesier than most people thought. I kind of stopped using them, so I have seen the cheesy stuff that people have done with them. So I'm not too mad at it, but like I said, I also don't really see it. So okay, I'm in the middle.
Ghost nerf, and let's see how you that's a good tip to say, target the healers in the back with his ult and stuff like that. I think that's solid commentary. Solo.
Yeah, I just had a question first, because I didn't play too much when Deadpool came out, so I still technically don't fully understand how his ultimate works. I mean, I'm thinking it's based off of just combos you hit, right? Or Slice, since you played Deadpool a lot, I'd rather ask you, since you know how his ultimate ability really works.
So he actually has, you know how he has the three upgrades for his ultimate. They actually are three separate um, alts. So he has a katana alt, and he has an alt when he has the pistols out. So the katana alt is the quote unquote big quiz or the big test alt, where you have to. It's almost, well, I'm about to say video game. Like obviously we're playing a video game, but more like fighting game. You have to input a certain combo, and once you implement that combo, you get a stat boost and all around, which is pretty dope. You get that's his katana one. With the pistols, you can get two different
two
alt
different
variants
ones.
with the pistol. And the one that I like to use, the big test, that's the one where I believe it's the big test. I might have to look, I might have to bring it up and physically look at what his upgrades are. But basically the two pistol alts are the ones that do chip damage. The
So
more
for
you
Deadpool
miss,
alts,
if
I'm
you're
using
hit
right now.
with Deadpool's little taunt from his ultimate, the more damage you'll actually take. So that's why I said I'll ultimate a healer. So the more shots they miss, someone like Warlock, someone like Mantis, someone Luna, where they're somewhat hit scan and you know they have to physically hit, not like a cloak and dagger or Invis, somebody who's easy to hit. It's almost a quick guaranteed way to A, stop the heals because they're not going to want to die, or B, if they still continue to sit there and heal, they're probably going to die because they're not going to hit every shot.
Okay, yeah, because see, where I was getting at is I probably thought like Deadpool's ult didn't really matter depending on like the energy conversion like everyone else's, if that's how that works, right?
Exactly. So that's
Okay,
also what I was alluding to earlier, as far as I didn't see a difference with his alt charge because he builds his alt differently than everybody else.
yeah, okay, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, at first I thought Deadpool's ultimate wasn't like everyone else's, as in he has to actually like have certain upgrades and stuff to actually use it. And I think overall this just did nothing but stabilize Deadpool because if they left him alone, I feel like for one, at least tank Deadpool, that damage reduction is going to be really lethal to a lot of fights because not only has the ultimate energy conversion been nerfed, having that damage reduction for a lot of DPS will also prevent them from getting their ults even already. Like they DPS they get their ults based off of their damage to energy, but Deadpool has some insane damage reduction as long as he's within the fight. So being able to prevent DPS from doing that damage is just going to make the game way too one-sided, at least from Deadpool's perspective, because the DPS won't have a chance to ult, or if they will be way too late, or the fight will already be lost by then. You know what I mean? So I'd say overall, I think it was probably needed. I think 10% would probably be too much, but we'll just have to see how the season goes and plays out.
Okay. I think that's solid commentary on Deadpool, and I think that was a great follow-up question to ask Slice, our resident Deadpool right now, on how it worked. And even I think he came in my chat. Now it's really cool to see it happen again live time. I was like, do you know that he has two different ults? Or we were playing a game or something. So that's really dope. Just to see how it works and how he uses both of those, and gives you an idea on how to use the character a little bit better. So Emma Frost is the next one. Diamond hard choices, deadlier payoffs. The White Queen's diamond form dims a bit, but Emma's ultimate shines brighter. Reduced diamond form damage reduction from 25 to 20%. Adjusted is a psionic seduction, which is our ultimate ability. Damage fall off about 30 minutes from 50% to 70%. Gain 20% damage reduction during ability. I feel like a few seasons ago, maybe it was season 6, she was super duper, like it seemed like she was a problem. Through season 7.0 and 7.5, she wasn't that bad. So her getting nerfed never makes me feel sad because I am a dive tank and she would throw me on my neck early on until I figure out how to do it. So and then her being in diamond mode sometimes is annoying because if with the right heals she can survive a little bit, but I guess that makes her character. So I'm not super mad because I don't use her, but I am like, damn, if I was an Emma Frost main or Emma Frost user, it would kind of piss me off a little bit. So what is your guys' thoughts on this update for her?
Yeah, actually, I think this kind of, well, like I kind of said with Deadpool, I think it just kind of stabilizes her more than nerfs her because that damage reduction from 25 to 20%, though it's not as big as Deadpool's, it's still gonna be a little bit oppressive to a lot of DPS or healers that's trying to get their ult charge in these fights. And now that Rivals is trying to slow the game down with everyone's ult charges, I think that it probably was needed to reduce the damage reduction. But at the same time, giving her that ultimate adjustment where she also gets that damage reduction during the ability, I think it would make it so that she's more so trying to actually be a vanguard and like make this crowd control happen instead of just becoming just a diamond kick-ass, snow bunny. But personally, no, I just think it's overall, I think it's a really good change. I feel like it would be a little refreshing to actually have an Emma Frost not be so oppressive with her ult, like you said in previous seasons. Because I know one thing, I play Black Panther a lot, and it's really annoying when I try and dive, and all of a sudden I see Miss Snow Bunny Emma Frost jump up and catch me in
Y'all
diamond
got
form
it.
just to kick me in my fucking neck. So it may be a little bit based, but I think overall it's a pretty decent change. Yeah, what you think, Slice?
So since you pointed out the Deadpool nerf and why it makes sense, compared to how DPS now would get their all charge, I pretty much got to agree with you on that. It might have seemed little bit too much at first, but now understanding the tone that Rivals is trying to set as far as alt charge, especially with DPS, it was definitely needed. Just like you said, it would definitely be
Diamond Mommy
unbalanced,
Thomas got
really unbalanced,
Alright, guys.
if that diamond form still had that sustainability with that increased damage reduction. So that's pretty much it. I don't have too much to say on it, other than it definitely was needed to just continue the balance and ensure that the direction that Marvel Rivals is trying to keep is pretty fair. So, but definitely with me diving from time to time, I would dive with Iron Fist, or I try to dive with Blade sometimes, but even Venom, definitely when I started using Venom more, I definitely would get tired of seeing her go diamond form, and I'm trying to hurry up and get her out of it, and she is
Annoying as
just
fuck.
tanking, which obviously she should. But yeah, seeing that choke slam come and you know succumbing to the thunder thighs of doom is never fun.
Yo,
So
y'all gotta chill,
yeah,
bro. Muscle mommies, fucking snow bunnies, fucking y'all gotta